So Manchester United have now officially wrapped up our first two transfers of this summer's window. Matheus Cunha and now Bryan Mbeumo are both Manchester United players. It took a lot longer than we would have liked, and it was also rather expensive, which isn't ideal. However, I think it will be worth it. I do truly believe that these two will transform the Manchester United attack next season. And the reason why I'm so confident about that is because of the numbers that we saw in the league last year. If we take penalties out of the equation for the Premier League season 24-25, Manchester United scored just 40 non-Premier League goals in the entire campaign. Mbeumo scored 15 non-penalty goals by himself. Cunha also scored 15 non-Premier League goals by himself. The conversion rate of the two of them was very impressive. I think these two are going to be a hit. Now, what we've done so far over the summer is talk about these two, their profile, what they will bring to the team in the sense of combination play, ball carrying, transition threat, and all of that stuff. What we are going to focus on today, though, is actually their finishing, the final part, in the box, scoring goals. Or actually, not always in the box. That's the first thing that I want to look at. The zones from which the two of them score. And the first thing that I noticed is that they both have an ability to shoot from within the half space. So when we're talking about the half space, we're talking about this little bit of space either side of the D on the edge of the penalty area, often in between defenders and midfielders. So this little zone where we've got Cunha here and this little zone where we've got Mbeumo. Realistically, typical inside forward positions where you're coming inside the pitch with the ball like this, you get yourself into the half space. These two both like to shoot from these zones, as we can see in this graphic here. You will notice, of course, it actually suits their instincts. Bryan Mbeumo is a left-footed player, a left-footed ball striker, so coming in from the right into this half space, shooting from his left foot, makes a lot of sense. Cunha on the other side is right-footed, but of course starting on the left. So again, from the left-hand side, coming inside the pitch, getting the ball onto his right foot from within this half space, it's logical, it makes sense why he wants to shoot from this position. But like I said, it was actually both of them doing this, and actually both of them scored 2 goals in the Premier League last season from within the half spaces. So this is an area that they will look to shoot from. The other thing that I want to point out is the fact that they both also had a lot of shots from within the penalty area in these sort of positions. So again, naturally Cunha from the left-hand side, although he has a bit more variation, and Mbeumo from the right-hand side. And the reason why I like this so much is because last season, Manchester United didn't get players in the box. It didn't feel like we had players with the killer instinct to get into the penalty area, the danger area, and score goals. And Mbeumo and Cunha do. You can see in their 2 shot maps from last season, they were both very active, very involved in the opposition penalty area. Mbeumo from the right-hand side, Cunha roaming about the box a little bit more, although still tending to shoot from the left. Now, after seeing this particular comment on Twitter, I decided to explore the shooting of these two a little bit further. By the way, I'll leave a link to that Twitter page in the description because it's one of my favourite on the internet. I absolutely love the way that guy talks, so check it out. But he inspired me to look at the Manchester United signings and their shooting positions a little bit deeper, focusing on the angles from which they shoot. And if we look at the angles from which they scored their goals in the Premier League last season, this is how it tallies up. You can see the area from which they were scoring the most was in the middle. The biggest angle in the middle of the pitch where, of course, you have the whole goal to aim for. However, that does include penalties. So that feels a little bit unfair to include that because you're literally shooting from the penalty spot under no pressure. So instead, what I decided to do was look at where they were scoring the second most. And that's where we find this little angle here between 45 and 60 degrees from the middle of the goal. This is where the two of them seem to come to life with their goal output, particularly Bryan Mbeumo. This is where he really specialises. And the reason for that is because of the way that they both play. And I found that they both have something very much in common with the way that they look to set these shots up. And what they're looking to do, the pair of them, is to drive and to carry. How many times have we spoken about that? Just in the last 3 or 4 days, by the way. Mbeumo's carrying ability, Cunha's carrying ability, the fact that Amorims loves it. Lovely, happy days. We know that they can both do that. But what's interesting is actually how they do it in the final third. Because when they do it in the final third, it's less about the pace and the power and the acceleration that we've been talking about all week. It's not about carrying the ball over large distances. It's actually about not touching the ball, not moving very fast at all, and putting the defenders in this weird state where they don't know what to do. So let's say you're Bryan Mbeumo on the right-hand side and you're looking to score from that angle that we've just discussed. You drive at the opposition defender initially, but then what he tends to do, and also Cunha, is just slow right down and stop touching the ball. And the reason why you do this is because it puts that defender in a state of not knowing what to do next, because they can see you've got the ball, but they don't know what way you're going to go. They're now in a reactive state, the centre back. They're not being proactive. They're not anticipating. They're waiting to react to what you're going to do. So for Mbeumo, he's going to slow the game right down in the final third, and put that defender in that reactive state. This is where the acceleration, the physical traits then come into it, because all Mbeumo needs to do is just nudge the ball one way, and he's got the acceleration, the power over that first yard to just get a slight gap from the defender. The defender can't react quick enough. He physically can't do it, and then Mbeumo has the shooting ability, the power to put the ball into the back of the net. It's similar from Cunha on the other side as well, although Cunha actually, as we'll see in a second, quite likes doing it from the right-hand side, so it'll be interesting to see how that works. But Cunha, again, is about something similar. He's about driving at the opposition initially with power and ball-carrying threat, and then slowing right down and putting the defender into that reactive state. It's really a mental battle here, a psychological battle when you get this close to goal, because defenders, they don't want to dive in and leave their goal vulnerable, but they don't want to give you too much space. And they're just in this state where they're almost frozen, just waiting for you to do something. And when you've got the ball striking, and also before that, the acceleration of Mbeumo and Cunha, they use it to their advantage so well. The ability to slow the game right down and then just burst with a little bit of skill or a little touch to push the ball away from the opposition. And because they are physical players, they don't necessarily have to actually beat the man. They just need a little bit of space. They can hold the man off with their upper body strength, which is really impressive. And then they've got the ball striking just to whack it in the back of the net. Now, of course, I'm not going to talk about all of this without showing you some examples of exactly what we're talking about. We can see Mbeumo here operating within that 45 to 60 degree angle against Arsenal on this occasion, looking to isolate the defender. And what you can see is initially he's probably being quite aggressive to get into this position, so advanced up the pitch. But then what he does is he slows right down. And Mbeumo at this point, he's not accelerating, he's basically stopped. He's slowing right down. And for Calafiori, the Arsenal defender, that's quite confusing. Calafiori is put into that reactive state where he's looking at the ball, he's looking at Mbeumo, waiting. The defender is waiting to see what Mbeumo is going to do. That puts Mbeumo in charge. If Mbeumo is making the decision and the defender is reacting, Mbeumo's dominating that situation. And that's why it's so effective. Because what Mbeumo does is he slows it right down, and then it's the touch to speed it up. It's the touch to speed away. And we've said it time and time again recently. Mbeumo doesn't need to beat a man. He just needs half a yard of space, because his ball striking is so good that he will put the ball in the back of the net with just a little bit of space. That's brilliant play from this angle. We can see another situation here, once again on the right-hand side of the attack. And to get to this point, he has been aggressive. He has accelerated into the final third. But in the last few steps, he's just slowed right down. And the reason why he's done that is to put the defender into this reactive state. So Mbeumo almost stands still once again, coming really slowly. And the defender gets himself into this position where he has to be ready. Mbeumo might knock it that way, so he's got to be able to go that way. Mbeumo might knock it that way, so he's got to be ready to go that way. So he's reacting. He's waiting. The problem is you physically can't react in time because of Mbeumo's ability to knock the ball. He times it so well to just give the defender no chance. Catch the defender flat-footed, and Mbeumo shifts the ball and then puts the ball into the back of the net with a really good finish, by the way. Now let's move it on and talk about Cunha. Like I said, interestingly, also doing it from the right-hand side. Be interesting to see how that works. Are they going to get in each other's way a little bit with some of this finishing? We'll have to see. Perhaps a conversation for another day. But purely in terms of finishing, you can see something similar. Cunha picks the ball up, and you can see straight away he's slow. He's intentionally slow. He's slowed it right down. He's taking his time on the ball in this situation, and it puts the defender in that reactive state where they don't know what to do. He doesn't know where Cunha's going to go. He doesn't want to get too tight, because if he gets too tight, he's going to get caught out. So instead, he just steps off. He gives himself a bit of room to react. The problem is he still can't react quick enough, because Cunha just knocks the ball to one side and then once again powers the ball into the back of the net. So it's about slowing the play right down, then quickly speeding it up and hitting it. And defenders, they just physically can't move quick enough. One more example here. Cunha on the right-hand side again, picking the ball up, isolated initially, slows the Villa defender right down. The Villa defender is in that reactive state. Cunha is going to throw in a bit of a step over and then burst to the right-hand side and put the ball in the back of the net. It is insanely efficient. So yeah, whilst these players are actually quite different in terms of how they operate over the course of the football pitch, their habits in the final third and the way that they like to manipulate time and space, weirdly, is quite similar. They like to slow it down, then burst, and then shoot. In fact, they both actually average 3.1 seconds before shooting, which is really interesting. Is it a coincidence that I've ended up on the same number? I don't know. Or is that something that Manchester United have looked for? Don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. In terms of their output for Manchester United, I'm expecting a slight dip. Realistically, these two are very good finishers, but it is difficult to keep overperforming your expected goals. There's a reason it's called expected goals, right? It's difficult to keep overperforming that. However, they are good finishers. I think they will continue to overperform, just perhaps not to the same level. So Manchester United will need to get them into goal-scoring positions. They will need to create chances for them. But as we've seen already, they can also do so much work themselves, which is why I'm so excited about these two at Manchester United next season. In the same attack, it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be scary. Hopefully not for us, but for the opposition for a change. That's what I'm hoping we get from these two. And that's where I'm leaving this video for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like, subscribe, and also get notifications on. And also, why not drop down in the comments and let me know what you think of these two? And if you have enjoyed the video, why not check out these two videos that we've done over the past few days? But apart from that, I'll see you guys in the next one.